Okay, this is one of the most basic things you can do in Photoshop is using the paintbrush. So what we're going to do is go to File, New, go to Print, because we're going to want to print this off eventually, and A4. A4 is usually the default one. Go to A4. Create that, and I've just got a blank everyday page. I'm going to go to my background. I'm just going to click on the lock, and now I've got a blank canvas to paint on. About a third of the way down your toolbar here on the left hand side, there is one that looks like a little paintbrush. Convenient, that. Click on that one, and you can simply start drawing. So at the moment I've got really thin paintbrush. I undo that. Right click, and you get this little menu. You can increase the size of your paintbrush by dragging this up, and you can increase the hardness of your paintbrush. So if I make a very 100% hard paintbrush, and I have the size quite big, and just click off, change this all the way to 100, and I start painting, I've got a very clear edge to my paintbrush here. If I want to make the edge of the paintbrush softer, kind of like a real paintbrush would be, I can take the hardness down and I can paint. So now it's fuzzier, it's got a less hard edge. You can take that all the way down and it's going to be really, really, really blurry. Another thing that you can do is change the opacity of your paintbrush. So up here, just below the help menu, there's an opacity tab. That is how strong your color is. 100% is going to be 100% of the color is red. If I was to take it down to 50, I'm only painting with 50% of the red color. 50% is strong. You can see that that is now see-through. I can see much more of the white that is behind the page. If I was to take this right the way down to 5%, you're barely going to see anything at all. So if I keep clicking and keep clicking, it's going to get darker and darker and darker and darker and darker. That is how you add more depth to a thing. That's how you add more color to it. I'm going to rub all this out. So I'm going to go to the rubber tool, 3 down, little rubber. Make sure your opacity is up to 100 if you're going to rub it out. Make the size a bit bigger. Make it really big so you can rub it out quite quickly. I'm going to rub it out. However, I seem to have rubbed out absolutely everything and I no longer have a white background. You can just fill in the background of your white page using the fill tool here. So a little paint bucket tool just below the rubber. Click on that and you can change your color down here. So go to the color picker and you can change any color you want. Really bright colors, really dark colors. I'm just going to drag this down here so it's white. Go up to the top so it's white. And I'm just going to fill. So now that I've got the plain white background again, I can start drawing on it. If I want to have separate drawings layered on top of each other, I need to make new layers. So I'm going to go and create a bunch of new layers. So the top layer is what's on top, the middle layer is the middle, and the bottom layer is the bottom. So the bottom layer is the white page. I'm going to draw on top layer. So I'm going to just start by clicking on my paintbrush. I'm going to choose a new color. I'm going to go for a blue, and then I could draw whatever I want. Make sure I've got the opacity back up, and I can draw a kind of a generic spiral shape there. This is not on the white layer, it's above it. So if I was to draw on the layer that's in between with the paintbrush, go down the paintbrush, get a new color, go to a green, and I paint on this layer, it's going to be below the blue. It doesn't overlap it. It goes below the blue layer. Now I can move these around if I want without affecting the other layers. So if I want to get rid of the green layer, I just press the I and it goes away. If I want to get rid of the blue layer, I press it and it goes away. Every time you draw something in Photoshop, I would suggest you create a new layer so that you can really build up a more complicated image. Choose a new color, go for orange this time. And because this one's below, it's only going to paint in the areas where I haven't painted before, so on and so forth like that. I can make a new layer again, but put this one on top. Go to my paintbrush, and I could just hard this back up, and just stick a little stick man on top. So this is a really simple way of using the paintbrush tool. You can paint super, super realistic, super detailed images, especially if you've got a drawing tablet, or you could just make your own kind of backgrounds using multiple different parts of the paintbrush tool.